let me see if I can do this right. This is how you tie it on. Now, I have one that's already tied on. This is actually a little 2-aught hook that I put on. You can see it here. In terms of tying it on, just tie it, no weight, just tie it straight to the hook, right to the back. You see that? So, how I would do this one is very simply, you take the fluke, belly down. So you see the belly's down, and you bring it through the front. I don't know if you can see this. Through the front, pop it out the bottom. Actually, this one's all, I'm going to grab a different one because this one's kind of beat up. Same thing. Bring it through the front, through the bottom. Okay, see how it looks like that? So it's down through the front. Bring it all the way up the hook. When you get to the top of the hook, you spin it. So it's basically sitting. Sorry, I got a thing here. Sitting like that. All right, and see the hook's still not in there. It's just kind of sitting there, but it's sitting up in the front. See that? Just like that. See that? And what you're going to do is you want to line up so you're going to bring it straight through. So this hook is going to come up through the body. Oh, sorry. I'm messing this thing up here. Through the body until it pops out on top. See, like that? And actually, there's usually a groove up in here that you can just kind of lay it in there. See how it's laying in that groove? And that's it. And you want it to lay as flat as possible. Okay? And you can already see, since this is not a low profile, you can see the hook sticking out. When you do a low profile one, so let me do this again. This is called a Texas rig, by the way. So if you ever want to look up just online, just look for a Texas rig. But what you can also do with the low profile, grab this one. The same thing, but watch how the low profile sits in it. So stick it in the top, pop it out, run it down, turn it over, see how it's sticking like that. And the low profile hook, find where it lines up. So see how this lines up right here. Pop it through. Now notice how it's a little less. You can obviously see the hook, but it doesn't stick down as far. Sometimes that's a better way of doing the fish, but that's basically how it sits in, and the line comes out right here on this side. No weights. What you do is you flick it in, and you let it. As soon as it hits the water, it'll fall down. And what you do is when you jerk it, it kind of makes a jerk. You basically kind of jerk your pole back, just kind of jerk. And it'll flip up and it'll make this flutter as though it's a dying fish, and it'll float to the bottom, then it'll flit up and float to the bottom. And usually either on the flutter up or when it's falling, they'll come up and they'll nail it. So that's how you do the flukes. For the worms, or the Senkos, they call them, these ones right here, same exact thing, up through the top, to the bottom. You notice on the worms, by the way, there's no real up and down. There kind of is. You'll notice there's a groove in the top right here, and that's where a hook can lay. You basically just put this in, same exact, this is called a Texas rig. Pop it up, and try to get it as low as possible. Another thing you can do on this, you can do what they call skinning it. You kind of pull it forward and let it kind of sit in there like that. And that's one way of doing this. See that? See it's in there? Okay. But another way, and that's a Texas rig. Another way of doing these on the 4-inch, which are nice, which actually work really well, is you take one of these and you do it wacky. It's called wacky. How you do it is you stick it right through the middle. And you let it just sit on the hook. I know it looks really funny. Sit on the hook like this, right? If you notice here, it's just all I'm doing is sticking through the middle. And you cast it in, and you basically, what it does is you let it fall, and you kind of pull up your thing, you let it flutters through the water, and they love it. They'll eat this. I've actually caught quite a few on this one as well. It's called a wacky rig. If you ever want to look up online, it's called a wacky rig. And that's another way you can do it. And what I always suggest is see what they'll hit in terms of size. Like, so for example, if they're not hitting the bigger stuff, then always just go down a size. You can go down to like I said, you can even go to a small Senko. Oh, this one is. Hold on. This one's not working so well. Same thing, just smaller, right? I'd suggest always going with the 4-inch when you do wacky, and then when you go smaller, you can always go to the 3-inch. When it comes to the baby brush hog, same thing. Texas rig works the best. Do the top, and this one does have a top and bottom. Actually, what it does is it doesn't really have a top and bottom, but it has a sides. So just make sure you just go, make sure that these are on the side. Pop it through, twist it over, line it up, poke it on through. And these ones are always good to skin, and that's it. That's how it sits, just like that. There's the hook. See that? The line again comes out right here. This is the hook. And that's how it sits. And again, you can skin it up on top if you want. And that's it. All right? If you have any questions on this, just give me a call. But these are, like I said, now I understand this might be kind of expensive to buy all this stuff, but if I was going to do the something in murky water with bluegill, I would probably choose the Watermelon Seed Fluke, Zoom brand. These are about $4 for a package of those. They look kind of like this. This is the package. It says Zoom on it. And there's Super Flukes. And this is actually one package. It's called Watermelon Seed Super Salt Plus, the Fluke. That's this one right here. All right, and then these are the hooks. These are just called. There's a Gander Brown, but again, they're called just a 4-inch. They're called Trick Sticks, Senkos, Worms, whatever you want to call them. But they're kind of these bigger, no tail on them really. And that's it. All right, dude. If you have any questions, let me know.